Mr. Honeywell, everything is arranged. Lady Franklin's grandson has promised to have his grandmother over here promptly at 11 o'clock to sign the contract. Yes, sir, you can count on me like your good right arm. Well, I'll get back to you as soon as I complete negotiations.
There. Now, Dad, you're well-mannered, well-prepared, and well-groomed.
Good. Now, please go and leave well enough alone.
Well, now, don't forget, I have a stake also in your appointment. 2 tickets to Lady Franklin's cotillion ball.
2 tickets?
Oh, didn't I tell you Mrs. Odetts wants to go to the ball, too?
Margie, you know how exclusive this affair is. Your wanting to go is bad enough, but trying to wangle an invitation for Mrs. Odetts, well, that's impossible.
Nothing is impossible. My dad does know the meaning of the word compromise. My dad does know the meaning of the word surrender. My dad doesn't know the meaning of the word capitulate. Isn't that categorically correct?
I don't even know the meaning of that word either.
Now, I've got to run. I have a lot of shopping to do.
Shopping? What for?
I don't have a thing to wear to the cotillion ball.
Now, listen, Margie, what about all those gowns you have at home? Didn't you find anything in the closet?
Yes, 5 mothballs.
Nothing else?
Yes, 5 dead moths.
Yes, Betty?
Lady Franklin and her grandson are here to see you, Mr. Albright.
Please have them come in. Margie, you'd better go out the other way.
Okay, Dad. Good luck.
Hello, Mr. Albright.
Nice to see you again, Mr. Franklin.
Mr. Albright, I don't believe you've met my grandmother. Grandmother, this is Mr. Albright.
Good morning, young man.
This is indeed a pleasure, Lady Franklin. Won't you please sit down?
Young man, I require no assistance.
Lady Franklin, speaking for Honeywell and Todd, we're genuinely flattered that you've considered our organization to handle your investments. Now, this report here will show you what we think to be the very best...
Mr. Albright, before you continue, I think you should be apprised of certain new developments. It seems that my grandmother...
No use beating about the bush, Charles. Mr. Albright, I just discovered that the son of a very old friend of mine is in the investment business. I only learned this yesterday when I had lunch with Agatha Staub.
She's Mr. Staub's mother. You know, Staub of Conway and Staub.
Please don't interrupt, Charles. Mrs. Staub is a charming woman, one of the few people my age that I can get along with. And since she is an old friend, I've instructed Charles to consider Conway and Staub.
Are you trying to say you're going to invest with Conway and Staub?
Exactly. Come, Charles, we must be going.
But, Lady Franklin, I've spent 3 weeks compiling this stock analysis and lining up a remunerative investment program. Won't you please reconsider?
I'm sorry, Mr. Albright. I've made my decision.
Isn't there anything I can say to make you change your mind?
You must understand, Mr. Albright, there's nothing personal in this. It's only that Mr. Staub's mother happens to be a very good friend of mine. Come, Charles.
Well, what do you know about that? Just because I haven't got a mother, I lose the deal.
Dad, look at the beautiful dress I bought to wear to the cotillion ball. It's a French import. Doesn't it fit me perfectly?
Margie.
You'll be so proud of me, I can hardly wait to go. Aren't you excited?
Margie.
All my life I've looked forward to going to the cotillion ball. The music, the dancing, the people. And I owe it all to you, Dad. You and your business connections. You have a funny expression on your face. Is something wrong?
Honey, there are certain times in certain girls' lives when certain fathers have to tell certain daughters certain things.
Dad, what are you driving at?
I'm not certain.
Don't tell me we're not going to the cotillion ball.
All right, I won't tell you, but we're not going.
But I thought it was in the bag. What happened?
I didn't even get a chance to ask Lady Franklin for invitations. She's going to sign with Conway and Staub.
Dad, we've been in worse spots than this before. Let me help.
Margie, you're no help to me in business. And besides, Mr. Staub has something to offer Lady Franklin that I don't.
Whatever it is, I can arrange it.
Well, my little arranger, it might interest you to know that Mr. Staub has a mother to offer Lady Franklin, and I don't.
I can arrange... cut in?
Oh, Margie, I was just boning up on the dancing.
But what about the rumba and the samba?
I'm old-fashioned. I still dance with my feet.
My, what a beautiful partner you have.
Oh, do you really like it? It's the new dress I bought for the cotillion ball. I tried on a backless and strapless model, but it did nothing for me.
Backless and strapless? How did you look?
Boneless and skinless.
Well, it's a beautiful dress, Mrs. Odetts, but don't you think it's a little daring for an 82-year-old woman?
Yes, I guess I'm just a crazy, mixed-up kid of 74.
Well, I'm afraid I'll be a crazy, mixed-up kid of 75 before we get to the cotillion ball. We're not going.
Not going? Didn't your father get the invitations from Lady Franklin?
He didn't even get Lady Franklin. She's going to sign with Conway and Staub.
Oh, dear. There goes my debut in high society.
Oh, it's a shame. The cotillion ball is the most fashionable affair of the year.
Well, guess I better return my dress to the store.
Of course, we could still go to the ball if we could get Lady Franklin to give up Conway and Staub in favor of Dad. But that's not likely, since Lady Franklin's going to sign with Conway and Staub because of Mr. Staub's mother. However, if someone else has as much in common with Lady Franklin, say, like Dad's mother...
Margie, if you have half a mind to do what I think you're thinking, I have the other half. You want to manufacture a mother for Vern.
That's right. If Mr. Staub's mother can take Lady Franklin away from Dad, I'll bet Dad's mother can take Lady Franklin away from Mr. Staub. Mrs. Odetts, you're going to be Dad's mother.
I'd love to help you out, Margie, but I'd never get away with it. Lady Franklin knows me. I'm afraid you're elected, Margie.
Me?
Margie, you're a natural for the part. You're an Albright. You resemble your father. You know everything there is to know about him. You'd be perfect as Vern's mother. This is it. Come along, Margie. This is where Lady Franklin rehearses the ballet for the ball. You can always find her here.
How do I look, Mrs. Odetts? Do you think I can pass for Dad's mother?
You could pass for my mother.
No wonder those two Boy Scouts helped me across the street. Let's go in, Mrs. Odetts.
You go first, Margie. Age before beauty. Strange. Lady Franklin doesn't seem to be around.
Let's go home.
Margie, are you turning chicken?
Cluck, cluck.
Now, Margie, you want to go to the ball, don't you? Lady Franklin must have just stepped out, and we're going to wait for her. I remember when I was a girl, I used to do that ballet exercise.
That looks easy.
I can't believe my eyes.
What, Lady Franklin? Lady Franklin!
Look what she's doing now. Arabesques at her age? Why, it's impossible. Why, it's most amazing.
Yes, Lady Franklin. It is amazing, Lady Franklin.
Lady Franklin?
In my 40 years with the ballet, I've never seen such boundless energy.
Thank you. I mean, thank you, Lady Franklin.
By that position you're in right now, don't you suffer from hardening of the arteries?
This is one position you can't do with soft arteries.
Lady Franklin, I'd like you to meet Mrs. Albright.
Who?
I'm Vern Albright's mother. I hope you won't mind me barging in like this, but I've wanted to meet you for so very long.
Well, I'm so glad you dropped in, Mrs. Albright. It's nice meeting someone so full of life. You know, I find that most people our age are so, how shall I put it, so,
Old?
Well, you're an amazingly active woman for a woman your age. How old are you?
73.
No one would dream that underneath her inferior exterior is such a superior interior.
You're only as young as you act. I may look like an old crow, but I feel like a slick chick.
How delightfully put, Mrs. Albright. We should spend the rest of the afternoon together. How about some bridge?
We were planning to play a few sets of tennis.
And at 3, we were going to go water skiing.
Water skiing? Oh, Mrs. Albright, are you all right?
Oh, I'm fine. It's been a pleasure meeting you, Lady Franklin. I do hope you'll call me sometime. I'm staying with my son.
I most assuredly will. But before you go, there's one more ballet exercise I wish you'd do for me so I can tell all of my friends.
Oh, no, I really couldn't.
Like that.
An entreshot? Well, I just don't feel up to it today.
That looks easy. I'll do the entreshot.
No, Mrs. Odetts, you mustn't.
Don't worry. This will be a real killer.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Wee, wee, wee.
Mrs. Odetts, how do you feel?
Shot. You're sure your father won't come in early? I'd hate to have him catch Lady Franklin here.
Oh, not a chance. Dad's spending the evening with some friends in Long Island. And 70-year-old women are usually in bed by 9 o'clock. Good. What kind of soup is this?
I knew you'd like it. It's mock turtle soup.
What have you got in it that makes it taste so different?
Nothing but genuine mock turtles.
Mrs. Odetts, are you sure you can handle everything?
Cooking's the thing I do best, Margie. I might have been a short order cook if it wasn't for one thing.
What's that?
I'm too tall.
Oh, that must be Lady Franklin.
Now remember, Lady Franklin can order anything she wants.
Okay. You may sit right here, Lady Franklin.
Thank you.
Now, what would you like to start with?
Oh, anything would do, Mrs. Albright. I just don't want you to go to any trouble.
Oh, it's no trouble for me at all. How about a nice salad? Do you have any preference?
Well, one of my favorites is salad marinara suprema.
Salad marinara suprema? Coming right up.
Here you go, Margie. I hope she likes it.
Lady Franklin.
Well, Mr. Albright, what a pleasant surprise. I thought you were in Long Island.
I was, but I left early. What are you doing here?
You won't believe this, but I'm having dinner with your mother.
My mother? Oh, you're darn right I won't believe it.
You look like you've seen a zombie.
How right you are. Dad's in there with Lady Franklin.
Goodbye.
Now, you come back here, you coward. We're in this together. You stay here and watch the cooking.
What you going to do?
I'm going inside and see what's cooking. Hello, Vernon.
Vernon?
Have you had your dinner yet, son?
What are you up to?
This salad. What would you like?
I would like to have a little talk with you, alone.
Well, that's no way to treat our guests, son. Anything you want to tell me, you can say in front of Lady Franklin.
What I have to tell you, I can't say in front of a lady. Are you coming with me to the other room?
What a persistent boy.
I get it from my daughter, who gets it from her grandmother. Now, are we going to have a man-to-man talk?
Don't you mean a mother-to-son talk?
As far as I'm concerned, you can call it a father-to-daughter talk.
What about Lady Franklin?
She can wait. I'll talk to her later. Oh, so you're in this conspiracy too, eh? Well, what are the Bobbsey twins up to this time?
It's very simple. You needed a mother, so I elected myself. Lady Franklin and I are pals now. You'll have to play along, Dad.
Margie, this is one time you've gone too far. You're making me look ridiculous and deceiving that poor old woman. I'm going in there and tell her exactly what you're up to.
But she thinks I'm your mother.
As of right now, you're busted back to my daughter. Lady Franklin, there's something I have to say to you. It concerns my daughter.
Young man, I have something to say to you, and it concerns your mother. I've never met a woman like her. Her youth is a tonic to me. And I wish to reconsider your offer. I want to assign my business to you.
I could have sworn I heard you say you want to assign your business to me.
You heard correctly. I'll be at your office at 10 o'clock in the morning, and you can thank your mother for this. Now, what was it you wanted to say to me?
Mother, Mother dear, let me kiss you.
I don't follow you, Vernon.
Mother dear, Lady Franklin has just informed me that she's not going to sign with Conway and Staub after all. Now do you follow me?
I just passed you. Lady Franklin is turning her business over to you because of me. Isn't that right, son?
Yes, Mother dear. Now let's sit down and eat.
Just a moment, son. If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times not to come to the table with dirty hands. Now march right in and wash up, or you don't get any dinner.
But Mother...
Vernon, I said march.
Hello, Grandmother.
Charles, I would like you to meet my mother. Mother, this is Lady Franklin's grandson, Charles.
My, what a handsome lad.
Thank you, Mrs. Albright.
Oh, now don't blush, young man. Old ladies can say things that young girls can't.
Mother.
Yes, indeedy, you'd be just perfect for my granddaughter, Margie.
Mother, may I speak to you outside a moment, please?
Oh, that would be impolite, son. This is my granddaughter, Margie. She's more fun than a barrel of monkeys.
Mother, I have something I'd like to say to you.
Vernon is such a little boy. Come, sit down. Vernon, you look tired. Why don't you go to bed so we old folks can talk?
Mother, there are a few things I'd like to say to you.
Vernon, if I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. Children should be seen and not heard. Now run along, brush your teeth, put on your pajamas, say your prayers, and go to bed.
Well, that does it. You're taking advantage and you're acting spoiled, brash, and selfish, conniving, brazen, and willful.
Son, you wouldn't dare say that again.
You're taking advantage and you're acting spoiled, brash, and selfish, conniving, brazen, and willful.
What a memory. Vernon, you may be able to talk that way about your daughter, but remember, I'm your mother.
I won't forget it, Mother. And as far as my daughter is concerned, if she doesn't stop meddling in my business, do you know how she'll end up?
How?
End up. I've never been so humiliated in my life. All through dinner, she treated me like a baby. Any minute, I expected her to throw me over her shoulder and burp me.
All right, that's just one of the sacrifices a businessman has to make. Anyhow, you've got the account. Now, Lady Franklin ought to be here any minute.
I refuse to go through with it. I am not taking orders from my daughter anymore.
Well, if you don't, you won't be around here long enough to be eligible for our pension plan.
I'm sorry, Mr. Honeywell, but when Lady Franklin comes here, I'm going to tell her the whole thing was a trick to get her business.
You do that, and you'll be eligible for our Blue Cross plan.
My mind is made up. Yes?
Lady Franklin and Mr. Franklin are here to see you, Mr. Albright.
Tell them to come in.
Now, Albright, don't make any hasty decisions. Remember, vice presidents are expendable.
Lady Franklin, Charles, this is Mr. Honeywell, the president of our firm.
How do you do? Mr. Albright, I'm going to be quite candid with you. The only reason that I'm here is because of that sweet, charming mother of yours.
Yes, isn't she a sweet, charming woman?
Well, as long as you brought it up, Lady Franklin, I feel it my duty to tell you that that sweet, charming mother is my daughter.
What?
I am not her son, I am her father.
Well, if you're that sweet, charming woman's father, you must be dead.
I know it must come as a shock to you, Lady Franklin, but Mrs. Albright is Margie.
Isn't it strange? Mr. Albright's mother and his daughter have the same name.
Don't try and confuse me, Mr. Honeywell. My daughter Margie, that you saw in the picture last night, was masquerading as my mother.
You mean that little wisp of a girl was acting as your mother? Heavens to Ethel Barrymore.
And now I imagine you'll want to go back to Conway and Staub.
Lady Franklin, I'll fire Albright. Anything you say. Why of all the low, underhanded tricks?
Grandma, you all right?
I've never felt better in my life, and I owe it all to that Grandma Moses in pigtails.
Then you're not angry?
Young man, if that daughter of yours is talking one thing, it's that we're as old only as we feel. I'm going to do business with you, Mr. Albright.
Oh, thank you, Lady Franklin.
Nice going, Albright. I've always admired your high-minded business tactics.
Lady Franklin, I must apologize for Margie's behavior, but the reason she went to all this trouble was so she could get an invitation to your cotillion ball for herself and Mrs. Odetts. Lady Franklin, how would you like to turn the tables on Margie?
I imagine that it would be quite difficult. Margie's a very smart girl.
She's not as smart as I am. You have to get up pretty early in the morning to fool me. Now, here is what we're going to do. Stay here till I see where she is. Target sighted.
I hate doing this to the girl.
You're only doing half to her, the other half to my mother. Battle stations everybody. Margie, we have company. Lady Franklin, I want you to meet my daughter Margie and her grandson Charles.
How do you do?
How do you do? I'm glad to meet you both.
You know, your grandmother's right. You are prettier than your pictures.
Oh, thank you, Lady Franklin. Won't you please sit down?
Glad to.
Margie, last night your grandmother intimated that I should take you out. I wonder if you'd like to go with me to the cotillion ball.
Oh, I'd love to go with you, Mr. Franklin.
Then it's a date.
Good. And now, Margie, will you please go and find your grandmother?
Grandmother? But I don't know where she is.
Well, please look for her. Lady Franklin wants to invite her to the cotillion ball.
The cotillion ball? Well, don't you think Grandma's too old?
No, you know she's very spry and athletic.
Well, she's resting now. She always rests this time of day.
Oh, that's too bad. Will she be out soon?
Oh, no. She's a very sound rester.
Now, Margie, if I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times, I want my daughter to obey me. Now, get your grandmother out here.
Yes, Dad. What a dirty trick for Dad to play on his own mother.
Did you see the way her face dropped when you invited her grandmother to the ball?
This is a good plan, Mr. Albright. I don't know how she'll ever get out of it.
And to think that only 2 days ago I never would have played such a trick on anybody.
I wonder what could be keeping her.
Well, you don't age 60 years overnight.
You don't think she'd caught on and went to her room to escape, do you, Mr. Albright?
Hardly. We're on the 10th floor. The only place she can go is down. Mrs. Odetts, what are you doing here?
I passed your mother in the hall, Mr. Albright, and she asked me to deliver this message to you.
Dear son, had to leave for gymnastic exhibition in Philadelphia. Will you please escort Mrs. Odetts to the cotillion ball instead of me? Hope Margie has a great time. Mother.
Oh, Charles, I'm so happy you asked me to the cotillion ball. What time are you going to pick me up?
Around 8 o'clock.
And I'm flattered that I'm going to be your partner at the cotillion ball. And what time are you going to pick me up?
So somebody has to get up awfully early in the morning to fool you?
I guess I must have overslept.